in the certain upgrades that Azerbaijan, kind of like we saw in Pakistan and in India, right? Azerbaijan had invested heavily in modernizing its militaries, and the Armenian back forces had basically 1970s Soviet equipment, and they weren't upgrading all these elements of electronic warfare, anti-drone technologies, anti basically tank, top down the tank. We saw this as a precursor to the Ukrainian war, and a lot of lessons were being learned. I don't know if you remember, but people putting cages on top of their tanks,
Mm,
that was coming out of Azerbaijan's war against in the Second
interesting.
Nagorno-Karabakh, because top-down drones were being so effective against tanks, which are
Yeah,
vulnerable on the top. So people started putting cope cages on top
totally.
on top of their tanks. We actually saw it going into Israeli tanks with that on top of their tanks because
Oh
of
my
the
gosh.
threat of
Yeah.
drones going into after October 7th. Um, because of the sheer scale of these wars, a lot of these lessons get missed, or what matters, which is really fascinating to look at kind of the evolutions of militaries, is where they grab on to lessons to say, okay, I'm changing my military because of this lesson.